Everyone, welcome back to the Dailey Blend show. This is the Friday Top 5, and if you are new around here, this is the edition of the show where I feature 5 things that I thought were interesting, notable, or culturally significant. Now, this week we're doing a little bit different, not a huge bit different, but just a little bit. So when I started to, organize this show, I really thought about it as sort of like just like more of a curation, and I realized that a lot of things that I was, mapping or how I map is usually when I'm trying to execute a certain action. And so really when you're going to see these stories moving forward, it's really going to talk about taking an action, kind of like I like life hacking, fitness, like I'm cooking or to cook, if you will, or things to wear. So it's just, you could argue that it is a bit semantic in terms of it, but it's just how I sort of structure and think about things and then curate things and how I organize my life. So before we jump in the show, I just want to remind you that this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube. We're going to start putting out some more content on Instagram and Instagram Shorts or Reels. You can tell my age just based on the fact that I don't really know how to use the Reels. Certainly not on TikTok, but who knows? You never know. Anyway, let's jump into the show. So the first one is all about life hacking. Audience is a service that allows you to type up and have handwritten notes created by a robot. The details here are they cut through the clutter and the noise of physical mailing and staggering 90% read rate and a 6% response rate for normal direct mails. We also help you build deeper, stronger, and more trusted relationships with prospects and customers. We even do your lead generation for you. Our lead database has 200 plus filters, so we mail your notes only to the most targeted prospects and customers. We uncover all the emails and LinkedIn profiles of each lead so you can run digital retargeting campaigns to note receipts, easily follow up with powerful notes, digital marketing handshakes, if you will, and sending personalized emails and LinkedIn connection requests. So why am I talking about this? Well, if you haven't been keeping up on my LinkedIn or Twitter, then you won't know that I took a new job as a client relationship executive. So this just means that I sit somewhere between sales, account management, and curation of, my organization's talent and aligning those to helping solve business problems and needs. And part of that is actually meeting people and getting to know people. And I'm a huge advocate of, yes, digital helps us sort of match or map, but then once you get to meet someone in person, it's really important to actually build like a strong relationship. And I actually really strongly believe in getting to know someone and finding common interests, and handwritten notes go a long way. The only problem is they take a long time to write, and my handwriting is just terrible, if I'm just being honest. So this is actually like a nice way for me to do this. I did watch the YouTube video on this, and it does integrate, or their service from Audience does integrate with certain CRMs. Obviously, I don't own the CRM to the business I work with, so I won't be integrating it, but I will be exploring using this service for the holiday season. All right, so this is something that I'm very, very interested in. Now that it's getting cold here in Chicago, it's cooking. And so in years past, I've sort of done, basically the exact same thing in the summer months, in the winter months, and it's just like the same type of grilling. So this year I want to do more stews and crock pots. I want to do more smoking, and I want to try more of these like baking sort of products that I can eat throughout the week. And I was able to track down some very tasty looking sort of chocolate nuggety bites from Victoria Rose. She is sort of a fitness influencer. She sells courses. She also does some, it looks like, food planning type activities, hence why she's, showcasing some of these recipes on her website. So the breakfast protein squares, it's really like, right? Bananas, eggs, all this good stuff. You cook it and then cool it off. The recipe's on my website, daileyblend.com. But yeah, go check it out. From a macro standpoint, it's 8 carbs, 9 protein, and 3 grams of fat. It looks really tasty. I am making that this week, so be on the lookout on my Instagram at ReedDailey. That's ReedDailey, to see how they look. So the next story is actually a pretty interesting one, in my opinion. So I've been starting to use Twitter a little more. I think it's a combination of Elon investing in and maybe shaking some stuff up. And, I just hadn't spent much time on that platform. And I'm getting, I think, just a little tired of Instagram because it's like all the same sort of video. It's not really that curated. It's just like whatever I searched in the last, 10 searches, I just get served like 20 more of those videos. And I'm just getting a little tired of it. So I'm interested in to see what Elon and the team does over at Twitter. Anyway, I went over there and I was looking for some new or alternative jerseys or apparel for the upcoming men's World Cup matches. If you don't know, the World Cup has moved from the summer to the winter in Qatar. It was a bit of a, kind of scandal, if you will, with FIFA, with some briberies, but whether or not, you believe that, whether or not you care, it's just odd to see the World Cup in the winter. But not the political stuff here. I want to talk about the jerseys. So Nike released 2 jerseys. One was sort of that red, white, and the other one was sort of the stars and stripes blue, which more looked like some sort of, it was definitely trying to mimic some of the 90s sort of love for the World Cup and the 94 team. Both jerseys are terrible looking, in my opinion. I just don't like them. And many people don't like them as well. Anyway, I went online and I found an individual who had spent a fair bit of time, clearly as a graphic designer, named Chris Bunn. And I sent him a note and I was like, hey man, these mock-up jerseys look fantastic. I'd like to get one. And he created sort of 3 ones. It was a Waldo one. He created sort of a black jersey that had these sort of almost like copper or gold hints with some scripting, and then just like the stars and stripes blue with white. So the mock-ups had Nike on them. Obviously they were fake, but he did find an organization to partner with, and the good people at Olive and York made the jerseys. Unfortunately, they're also sold out now too. Hopefully they're going to get reissued before the World Cup. Anyway, I just thought this was really cool. Not only the design of the jerseys and the creativity, but the fact that I actually went back and forth with Chris. I don't know why going back and forth with someone in a public forum like Twitter makes me feel like I've won or connected, whereas when I direct message someone on Instagram, it's just like, a text between friends. I wonder what that is from a psychological standpoint. Anyway, go check out Chris. He's got a great graphic design company and out of Raleigh, and he does some really nice things with branding. And then obviously go check out the good folks over at Olive and York to check out their jerseys. They make tons of sort of, I don't want to call them copies, but interpretations of different teams and apparel, and it's pretty neat. All right, so next we're going to move on to people to follow. And so this week I am highlighting Connor Price. So I've been watching Connor Price's videos on Instagram since I am, in my 40s. I do not do the TikToking, but I'm guessing a lot of these videos are kind of similar to what is on TikTok with the kind of like poppy, kind of catchy sound. Anyway, he does really interesting songs, and then his music videos or videos and shorts are pretty funny. It's basically him playing 3 or 4 characters. It's largely him producing music, rapping, and then his like weird alter brother, which is actually him, playing some strange instrument. Anyway, they're pretty creative. They follow a similar flow. Songs are really catchy. If you're sort of down and out in terms of just like, I need something that is, what do you call it? A guilty pleasure. This is definitely, a person to follow on Instagram and YouTube. So the last one is Fresh Footwear to Wear. And if you know me, you follow this site, or you've talked to me, or even seen me in person, I always have some sort of bright poppy shoes on. And so John Geiger is someone who I actually hadn't known his name until I watched the YouTube episode with the guys over from complex on full size run, but he basically knocked off or highly mimicked is what Nike, he said, and Nike said, or inspired, I guess is the right word to use. He inspired his shoe based on the Air Force One. Nike thought it was really a straight knock-up, and I don't know the whole, judgment from Nike's lawsuit, but on his website it even says that the white and gray GF01 by John Geiger will be discontinued in this sort of interpretation on May 2023. So this for me is like the really perfect, sort of all-around shoe. It's white, gray. It's kind of like the adult Panda Dunk for someone like me who wants to wear this with suits but doesn't maybe want to look too casual. So anyway, it's $220 plus shipping. I think it takes a couple of weeks or months for him to actually make the shoes, but I thought they were really cool. Hats off to John and his team. Looking forward to getting to know a little more about his brand and getting a pair of shoes on the feet. All right, everyone, that wraps it up for this week's episode of the Friday Top 5. Sorry for missing a couple weeks here. I've been on the road, but I think based on this new format, shows should be definitely more predictable or kind of not predictable, but the shows should be coming out more regularly on Fridays. Hopefully you enjoy them. If you do come across, things that you're really passionate about, things that you're really interested in, things that, excite you, that you think others should be aware of, please, direct message me, send me an email, read at Dailey Blend. Obviously you can direct message me on Dailey Blend or read Dailey. I'll get it no matter where you hit it in terms of the DMs. So thanks as always for tuning in. Like, follow, and subscribe to the show. Check us out. Download us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and now on YouTube. And enjoy your weekend. We'll catch you next week on the Weekly Rundown. Thanks for tuning in.